Let's see. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now we're working. Cannot do it every time. Got to have a little hiccup, to make sure that everybody knows this is live. Oh, man. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back into the stream. You should be able to hear me now there. Greeny, thank you so much for joining us. Showing sound on my end, but let's see if you got anything now. There we go. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it so much for joining us in today. Like I said, we are going to be talking about slowest week in sales ever. Okay, that's a little bit of a clickbait title, but honestly, it is probably the slowest week I've had, especially full-time in sales, in a long time. We're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing to try to fix that. But we also want to talk to you guys about how your guys' sales week is going, and hopefully you're having a little bit better luck than I am. But like I said, we'll be getting into that. But we first want to thank you guys so much again for joining us live. Appreciate it. If you're re-watching this, I want to say a special thank you. I always thank you guys at the end. But I do want to say a special thank you if you're watching this after the live even goes up. It always helps out a lot to see your guys' feedback and all that, even if you aren't able to join us in these lives. Like I said, we do these lives about every Monday, normally around 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern time is when we like to go. That changes up a little bit every now and then, but otherwise, like I said, we want to talk with you guys. We want to get your guys' topics in and hopefully find some stuff to help you guys out and not just sit here and talk about everything that's going on with me. So I am going to check one thing. I did have a couple questions come in. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, doesn't look like it. All right. So we are good to get back into this. Let's see here. My sales dropped off over the past weekend as well. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to discuss it a little bit. I don't know what's going on with that. Mine as well really dropped off this week. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people that have actually gone up and a lot of people that have had great weeks. So we're going to get into that. There's obviously thousands of variables that can change, what causes one person's sales to go up and down versus another. But we're going to talk about all of that this week. I don't have a ton of orders to go out today, guys. We have normally, I think we're running like 30, 40 orders on these lives, except for last week when we had the whole week's worth. I only have, I think, 17 orders, 18 orders to go out. So not great. And like I said, this weekend, we only did, I want to say $800 in sales over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is, again, really low for me. Normally we're hitting 15 to 2,000. So it's just been a rough one for us, and we're gonna just, like I said, I got a whole list of topics that I want to talk about in regards to the slow sales. But before we get into that, I want to talk about a couple other things, and there's gonna be a lot of talking because, like I said, we've only got about 20 orders to go out, and that doesn't take too much time. So we're gonna still make the video probably about as long as possible. So let's get into it. Instead of me rambling, telling you what we're gonna do, let's just talk about it. As always, guys, thank you guys for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box or leave them in the live chat. That helps me out a ton. That way I don't have to just ramble about whatever I'm thinking about. I want to be able to engage with you guys. If you've got a suggestion or anything like that, don't hesitate to leave them in there. And I want to preface this whole video with the fact that I don't want people to think that I know everything, okay? I don't. I've been in the reselling game for a long time. I have a lot of experience in it. I've been doing it full time now for, like I said, 2 years, and then, like I said, part time for multiple years after that or before that. But that doesn't mean I know everything, and that doesn't mean that that's what I'm here for. I actually have been watching some videos on YouTube of different resellers, just wide variety of different people, and some of them are great about just being open and honest and everything, and then others come across very arrogant, very know what I'm doing. I'm the only one that knows what I'm doing, that sort of thing. And I don't know if they mean to be that way, but it does come across that way. I don't want to ever be that person. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know all the details. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you my opinion on it, but that doesn't mean I'm 100% correct. I'm going to base it off of what I've done in the past or what knowledge I have. But I'm not perfect and I don't know everything. And I don't want these videos to come across like that at all. I appreciate your guys' suggestions. I appreciate your guys' comments and your communication and everything with these. It's awesome. It helps me out. I learn from you guys and I learn from other YouTubers. I learn from all these different people and don't want people to come here and think I have all the answers. I'm happy to help. But I don't want to ever get that arrogance going or that, this is how you should do it. These are all just my suggestions. These are all just what I'm working on. And I try to be very open and honest with what's going on with my store when it comes to, what I'm doing in sales, why I think they're going down, why they're going up, whatever. But that's what I want to be, is just open and honest with you guys and be able to supply some information for you. So with that being said, we're going to jump into it. Let me check the comments real quick. You may not know everything, but your transparency and desire to help keeps me coming back every week. I appreciate it. I really do. That, like I said, guys, that's the whole reason I wanted to do these lives. Not because I feel like I know everything, but because I enjoy watching them myself. So whenever, I'm doing listings or taking photos or whatever, I always have somebody playing in the background, whether it's another YouTuber or, just podcast in general or whatever, to learn. And that's why I wanted to supply this, to be able to not only do that, but to engage with you guys, for you guys to be able to ask questions, for you guys to be able to give ideas and stuff like that. That's the whole reason of doing this. This is not to be, not to be a famous YouTuber, obviously, because to be honest, guys, this is growing really slow and it's discouraging sometimes. But, I appreciate all of you guys that come back week after week. There's always a few of you in here that are, like I said, are in here week after week, and I appreciate more than you know. So we're going to get into it today and get started with the first order, because if I don't do that, I will continue to talk for hours and not get anywhere. The first order, I can't even show you what it is. Oh, maybe I can actually. Let me see. Do I have another one in here? No, I don't. Okay, so I can't even show you what it is, but it's just a Adidas hat that we picked up. I think we sold one in a previous video, just a white flat bill hat. We did sell it for $29.99, and I believe we paid like $5 for it. I already packed that one because I thought I had gotten the label for it on Thursday, and it was a Friday order, so I packed it. It's all good to go, but we're just going to slap the label on it and send it out. That was our first order from Friday. Let's see here, going out to Frank. So let me find Frank's label real quick, and then we will get into these topics. How has your guys' sales been? If you have any news, anything that's been going on in your store that you think is pretty interesting, let me know in the comments. If you're watching this and you aren't even a reseller, thank you, number one, for your support. And if you just want to hit it, feel free to leave other comments. Like I said, I'm here to chat. I'm here to engage with you guys. This is about as much engagement I get besides my sourcing and talking with my wife. So I enjoy talking about whatever we have going on in our day-to-day lives. And that's what it's all about. Reselling isn't just all the tech stuff. I forgot to set up my bags. Hopefully this isn't too loud. I think you guys can see what I'm doing over here. I normally have these bags set up ready for packages, and I'm slacking off this morning. But that's all right. All right, we're going to get up close and personal with the camera here in just a second. And set that bag there. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we want to talk about actually has nothing to do with necessarily, well, it does have to do with reselling, but not anything about our slow sales. But Mercari is actually going back and changing their return policy. It took, what, 3 weeks? Not even. They are changing back, so they are no longer going to be offering returns for whatever. Basically, it has to be an item not as described or anything like that, which is what they had previously. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out for Mercari. Number one, they went and switched all the fees to the buyer instead of the seller, which helps sellers and makes sellers feel like they're getting a better deal out of it. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it works out either way. It's just like the free shipping, charge shipping thing. Somebody's paying the fees. The price of the item total is somewhere. So at the end of the day, it might confuse some people and might trick some people, but I don't want to say trick. It's like buying when you have to add tax and surcharges. Actually, if you order from Fanatics or Lids on their website, they charge handling charges, which used to be a big thing back several years ago with online selling. They kind of went away with that, but there are some websites that still charge it. They charge like a $3 handling fee and then the shipping on top of it. So, there's going to be buyers that aren't going to care about that and may buy from it. But at the end of the day, the market on Mercari is going to adjust and be about the same as where it is everywhere else. No one's going to go spend $10 more for an item on Mercari if they can buy it from eBay for cheaper. So with Mercari doing that, yes, it entices sellers to sell on their platform, but then their whole thing with buyers was they were offering free returns. You still had to do it within 72 hours, which I thought was amazing. I don't mind that. I don't mind a return, if I already know it's going to be happening. It kills me on Amazon because you'll get a return from something that somebody ordered 3 months ago and they'll return it, and Amazon allows it. So I didn't mind that change, but that was the whole change with Mercari, was to get buyers in. They were offering the free returns for whatever you purchased. It just had to be within the 72 hours. They are now changing that. So they're changing it back to how it was. It has to be item not as described, whatever, and it's, again, 72 hours, which is great for the seller. I mean, obviously, if we don't want to deal with returns, then it's an awesome feature. The problem I see with it is now there is no reason for a customer to go to Mercari to buy an item if they have it, if it's available in two different places, if they find it. Now, there's going to be buyers that aren't going to find it on eBay, you know, or aren't going to search eBay. I understand that, but the whole draw kind of to offset that extra fee was that you could return it anytime. And now that Mercari has changed that back, number one, it makes me question whether it was just a bad decision in the beginning and they decided it wasn't profitable and they were already losing a bunch of money, or if it was a strategic thing to kind of, you know, offset the blow and then it just, you know, I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I don't like it. I understand if they made the change after a couple months, but it's only been a few weeks. So for them to make it that fast is crazy to me. We'll see how it affects. Honestly, guys, I barely get any sales on Mercari. I get one or two a week, if that. And we are going to be talking about that here in a little bit, but at this point, it's not going to affect me either way. But for those of you that do sell Mercari, like I said, it is changing. If you didn't see that already, it is now going back to the old return policy, which is going to help out sellers, obviously. So we will see how it affects sales, though, overall. Next up on the order list, so I can make sure I'm still moving through here, Crystal posted saying pretty terrible sales, had one really good day over a week ago, and then slow again. Yeah, like I said, same here. I don't have my week sales numbers, and I meant to grab those before I started, but they aren't great. I mean, like I said, this is the slowest sales week for sure I've had, especially since going full time. I'm not totally clickbait in the title, but I don't have my numbers, and I should have, because obviously that's the whole point of this video. But it's been really slow. I've been getting like 5 orders a day on eBay, which normally I'm averaging 12, 10 to 12, a total, I guess, 10 to 12 orders. Amazon's been slow, maybe 1 or 2 a day. So, you know, 7, 8 sales versus 12 to 13 sales, that's a pretty big decrease. I mean, I know I shouldn't, you know, I'm still making money, and I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm just not selling anything. But when I come into a weekend with 17 sales, that's scary. It gets you wondering, and, you know, and it's hard not to just freak out over it. But we're going to talk about that and some of the ways that I found that helps kind of alleviate some of that. I'm not going to say it's going to be, you know, constantly, but it is something that we can help alleviate, hopefully, a little bit. We're going to come over here and grab this next sale. Hopefully my camera works here a little bit. It's super slow. Let's go ahead. Oh, geez. There we go. I got to fix some of that before I do that again. Sorry, we've been trying out this new camera, and I want to incorporate it as much as I can just because I think it's a cool feature, but we're going to have to fix some of the settings on it before we continue with that. This next sale is something I've had for a little while. These are the Reef brand flip-flops, and the only reason I grabbed them, they looked cool, and at first I didn't even realize what they were. I figured they might be expensive. They're just super nice quality, obviously, but they actually are, I seen the MLB tag, and these are San Diego Padres branded slides or flip-flops, whatever you're going to call them. They have a bottle cap opener in the bottom of them, which is kind of cool. But they're really heavy, actually, and pretty nice quality. Size 11, so a good men's size. Or actually, I'm sorry, it was a size 11 women's, which came out to like a 9.5 men's, I believe, or no, a 10 men's, according to their size chart. So we listed these up. I actually got $69.99 out of these. We did pay $20 for them at Ross. This was back, like I said, several months ago. I want to say it might have been a year already. But we did get $70 for them. And this is a perfect example of a high-priced item that I didn't realize was so high-priced for so long. So when we talk about that here in a minute, this is a perfect example of these. But we're going to go ahead and package them up. They are slides. I'm not really worried about them getting damaged. We are going to slide them into poly. 20 into 70 is a good sale, but like I said, it took forever to finally get them out of here. Excuse me. But yeah, so that is the whole thing with Mercari. What else we got? I'm going to talk about some of the eBay stuff here later on. But I do want to talk about eBay has Terapeak now in the app. If you haven't seen that, if you go to, actually, I might be able to show you guys. I should have had screen capture on, but I don't. Let me see if I can do this without showing too much of my info. Not that I mind you guys seeing it. But to put it in perspective, guys, my 90-day, actually I have it right here. My 90-day normally is around 40,000 in sales. It hovers around 39 to 40,000, pretty average. This week actually dropped it, or this past week and a half, 2 weeks, has dropped it down to 37.5. So I would say we were down at least $1,000 this last week, and we were actually down 30% according to the sales percentage over last month, I believe is what it compares it to. We were down 30% for the week. And that was, I checked on Saturday. So Definitely not good. But if you guys actually go to the app, I don't know how well this is going to show up on screen, but if you go to just the selling, the main hub, it shows you guys, all your stats and stuff like that, your total paid out, all that stuff. Right underneath drafts is the new product research tab. Oops, what is my camera doing? It's tracking me. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Let's get back to that. Oh, goodness. Full of technical glitches today. But yeah, right underneath your drafts on the app is going to be the product research tab. And I'm trying to make sure I get it there. If you click on that and it just says get started, it'll pop up this page here and you can actually search in the top just like you would on Terapeak on your on the website itself. So now you can go through and actually comp and get some ideas of what sales are past 90 days, 2 years, up to 2 years, or no, I think it's 3 years now, but it's up to like 3 years back. You can check comps and stuff for those particular items and see how well they sell. It's great for seasonal items for sure. Christmas stuff obviously isn't selling as much in the middle of June and July. So to get better comps, you can use that tool. It's now in the app, which is awesome. I've been asking for that forever. I felt like it should have been a long time ago, or at least a separate standalone app for it or something. But they have included it in the app. There are a few things that aren't available on there that are still available on the website, but overall, it's a pretty wide spectrum. Now, the other thing is, I can't show this one to you guys, but if you go to Terapeak on the website, they now have a sell-through percentage showing for any searches that you do 90 days or less. So if you search for something and put 90 days as your max search time on that, you can actually see a sell-through rate. And I tried figuring out if it was calculated the same way. It looks to be about the same way. If 10 sell and 10 sold, then it's a 100% sell-through rate. If there's 50 active and only 10 sold, then 20 or whatever it is. But that percentage now shows up in there, which is super cool. Obviously, you can kind of do that on your own pretty quickly most of the time, but just to have it there is really nice. And especially for beginners, it helps give them a perfect number. They don't have to do all the math and stuff like that. So it's very helpful. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Like I said, you have to search last 90 days. You can't do anything more than that. So you can't go a year, 2 year. It won't give you that sell-through rate. But 90 days or less, it will give you a sell-through rate percentage right there on the website, which is really cool. So glad to see eBay's taking some steps to hopefully do that. They have been very slow in the past about incorporating this stuff. And again, that's something that could have been included a long time ago. I don't know why it never was. But, we got to go with what they give us, unfortunately. But glad they're doing something at least. So that was pretty cool. Let's see. I compared my sales to last month and I'm down almost 30%. Definitely makes me nervous as I'm still in my first year. Yeah. Now, I don't want to ever convince people or give the idea that summer slowdown isn't a thing. I know I did a video on it and we talked about helping with summer slowdown and stuff like that. I don't want to ever give the idea that that is not, that you can completely avoid it. Summertime, whether you're in retail, whether you're in, any business, you've got your strong seasons and your weak seasons. For retail, summertime was a slowdown because everybody's out spending money doing other things. So whether they're out, on vacation, whether they're out at sporting activities, whatever, your slowdown, you don't have as many people shopping. It's hot out. People don't want to go outside, that sort of thing. There's a lot of reasons that detracts people from going and shopping in store. A lot of that, though, is, like I said, vacations and people actually having activities and spending money elsewhere than just on themselves. During the wintertime, they tend to be shopping for gifts, shopping for themselves. They're inside, it's cold, whatever. They don't have activities going on, that sort of thing. So there's always a slowdown. Online is no different, and there always is a summer slowdown. You can try to alleviate some of that by getting products that sell well during summer, and we've talked about that in previous lives. And that helps. But at the end of the day, it is always going to slow down. You can't expect Q4 sales through the summer. And so I don't ever want to give the idea that that's not going to be the case. However, 30% is a pretty big chunk, and I haven't seen that big of a drop. And like I said, that's a 30% drop from a couple, a month ago or 2 months ago. Can't remember exactly what it compares it to, but that's a big drop. If it was like, going from Q4 to the summer, then I understand that big of a difference, but it's a little worrisome. So we're going to talk about it, and we'll probably dig right into it now and try to talk about some of the things that I feel are affecting my store and what I'm going to be doing to help with that. So one of the things I looked into as soon as I seen this and I realized, I'm not getting as many sales, that starts to question my sell-through rate as far as how many items I have listed and so on. So I actually went through and looked and did a little bit of research into my categories, how many items I have in different categories for my store. And my particular store, I am now pushing over half of my quantity of items are in hats. If you've heard me talk about hats, you know that hats are very slow selling. They are great margins, and we can discuss that here in a minute, but they're slow sell through. You know, if you're looking at a 1% sell through rate, is what a lot of people consider a good sell through rate on eBay. You have 100 items and you sell one item per day. That'd be like a 1% sell through per day, which is pretty good. And that's what you can kind of average. If you have 2,000 listings in most categories, you should be seeing 20 items, selling a day or something like that. It kind of varies. What's up, Recon? Thank you so much for joining, man. Appreciate it. So when you look at that sell through rate, like I said, that's an average, and it's going to vary on what you're selling. If you're selling clothing, it's probably going to be a little less than that. If you're selling hats, it's definitely going to be less than that. My actual hat sell through rate has been around, I want to say, I looked it up, and like I have 1,000 listings, I think, on hats now, roughly. So 1,000 listings, and I'm selling maybe 2 a day. Is kind of my average. 2 to 4 a day, I think, was my average when we weren't slow in sales. So just say 4 a day. That's only, I need to be selling 10 a day to be at 1%. So I'm less than 0.5% in sell-through rate on hats. So when my inventory ends up being half hats, I kind of have to expect a little bit of a slowdown. The whole reason I continue to do hats, even though that is a slower selling item, is my profit margins. I actually went through and I compared just my ended listings. So these are just hats that I've completely sold out of. I have no more in stock or anything like that. A lot of one-offs and stuff like that, but there's some others that I've sold, 7 or 8 of each one. I went through and actually looked at all of those for the past year, and I've had, 109 sold out listings. Now that's not 109 hat sales. I've sold a ton more hats, but the 109 is the listings that are ended that I didn't have any more of. So, and it was about 150 total quantity hats that I'm basing this number off of. Okay, so I took 150 hats with an average buy price of about $10 a hat between the two, and averaged all that out. I did all this math. Okay, basically what I come out to is I make on average about $22 to $24 per hat in profit. Okay, that's what my hat sales are. That's a really good profit margin. If I'm spending $10 on average and I'm averaging 22 to 24, I'm making 250% margin on my hats. That's why I don't mind them being a slower sell through, because again, I could buy this and I could sell it and make, 100% margins and get my 10% on something else, but I don't mind holding on to them because they are consistent sellers. They don't lose value. They literally don't lose value unless the team does terrible for years. Then it might a little bit, but they don't lose that much value compared to some other things. You don't have to worry about them tanking. Older hats do tank, but a lot of older hats go up in value because you can't find them anymore. So all of that said, like I said, that's why I have the hats. But that could explain why my sales numbers as far as sales per week is down. A lot of my inventory has shifted over into hats and my quantity. So now I have maybe 1,000 listings. What's up, Grim? Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We got 8 viewers right now. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys can understand my rambling. But like I said, we've shifted over that. So now I only have 1,000 of my listings that I can kind of expect orders from. If you look at that though, if I have 2,000 listings, I have about 2,500. But if I had 2,000 listings to make math easier, if 1,000 of them are hats and I'm only getting, an average of 3 to 4 per day, and then I've got 1,000 listings of other hard items as far as shoes and stuff like that. If you compare that, my 10 to 12 listings per day are sold, or 10 to 12 items sold, works out. It's almost exactly what it should be, at least in my opinion, what my sales rate should be. So my continuing average sales of 10 to 12 listings per day is great. That's what I expect. When it drops down to these 5 and 6, that's when I start getting worried. So I looked into it, tried to figure out, long story short, if this was the reason for my slowdown in sales, is that, all my hats are, it's all going into hats instead of going into other things. And I don't think it is. I think I can expect a little bit of a slowdown, but I don't feel like that's what's causing the issues right now. Before I jump into the next portion of that, let's go ahead and ship out the next order. We've got these Alpha cleats here picked up from the Burlington. I think we picked these up in that Burlington haul video. Quick plug, if you haven't watched that video, go check it out. Link is in the description. Appreciate everybody that did that last video. The views actually jumped quite a bit, so thank you for that. But we did sell these size 14s, I want to say. Let me double check. Yes, size 14s in the red color, which for some reason had better comps than the white and the black. If you guys know, the Alphas have tanked really bad because there's so many of them in Burlington. But they did sell. We sold these ones for, let's see here. What did we sell for? $59.99, and we paid Shoot, actually, let's make sure we remove the tag. I got a story about that too. It looks like we did. So I think we paid 25 for these. They jumped up to 25 bucks this year instead of the 20. So 25 into 60 is a pretty good profit. And like I said, size 14, they are football cleats. Buy big in those football cleats. Don't be afraid to buy 14s. I personally buy 15s. They don't sell as fast, but they still do sell. Let's see, going out to John. John in Georgia. My labels are all messed up today. All right, here we go. Let's see, Recon said, my sales are up 30-40% in the last month, but I'm also aggressively scaling. My sales volume, number of sales definitely is down though. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, I actually mentioned in the beginning of the video how you guys, how a few of you guys have been talking about sales going or being up, and that's great. Like I said, that's why I've dug so much into my sales history, my metrics, all that stuff, to try to figure out what's causing my slowdown, because it's not everybody. So I don't want to sit here and blame it on the economy. I don't want to sit here and blame it on this stuff. There's got to be a reason. And I don't want to waste a bunch of time. I don't want to worry about it, but I do want to dig into it a little bit to see what I can do to help out and try to get those sales boosted back up. Who knows, maybe it's an off weekend. And I'll be honest with you guys, I had 5 orders this morning when I woke up. So there, it is getting better. It is getting, it could just be an off week. And I always want to consider that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and just ignore it and just pretend like it's not happening and just be like, oh, well, hopefully it goes up. That's not smart business. So I want to make sure I'm doing my part. Let me slide this box over here and we'll move on to the next thing. And speaking of that, we actually got 2 more sales right now. So we're up to 7 sales today. That's the most sales I've had all week, almost in a day. And it's not even 10:30 here. So it's one of those things. Like I said, guys, it could be a fluke, but at the same time, we can't just ignore it. We have to look into it and figure out what we can do to fix and hopefully help boost those sales the best that we can. Let's see here. I gotta delete this and get this tracking updated. So with looking into all of that, like I said, I kind of determined that it wasn't necessarily my hats. That wasn't the main issue that was going on. That's what I was kind of worried about. So we next have to look into what other areas we can improve on. Obviously, the only other thing that's going to affect sales besides what product you have to offer is going to be your price. And that's the one that I haven't been doing a good job on, honestly. Let's see, Grim said I went from 3 to 4 a day to 1. So I'm going to try listing a little bit more. Grim, how many, if you don't mind my asking, how many listings do you have up currently active, as far as, active and not sold out? Because if you're beginning, like I said, you can it's going to vary a little bit like that. I'm not going to say it has nothing to do with the slowdown. I'm just saying, up until you get a solid number of listings, it is going to be harder to get a consistent average. It's how that kind of goes. The more inventory you have, the more consistent sales you're going to have. Recon said, like Saturday was insane, and then my Sunday was almost non-existent. I had 3 sales on Sunday that the buyer has to cancel too, which was annoying. Like 120. Okay. Yeah, Recon, yesterday I got 3 sales. Saturday I got 3 sales. All my sales came from Friday, which is just, again, so weird to me. And my sales have been like that for the past 2 to 3 months. Ever since 4th quarter, my weekends have been terrible. And that's like complete opposite of what they normally are. At least in the past 2 years of me doing it recently, my weekends have always been great. I might have one slow day versus another or something, especially on holidays. It's always going to be a lot slower. But yeah, for some reason, my weekends have been terrible. My Mondays and Tuesdays have been carrying me through the week for sales, which is pretty crazy. And I actually had a couple of buyers asked to cancel too this week, which is kind of annoying, which doesn't normally happen that much. So I think that's more economy. I think that's more people really thinking about what they're buying. And getting that buyer's remorse and actually acting on it instead of being, oh, well, it's $10, oh, well, it's $50, whatever. I think that's more the economy, because I don't want to outplay that, guys. The economy is a huge impact, and it's having a big impact on us now. I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into all that. And I try not to think about it as much. I consider it, but I don't want to think and, put all my thoughts into that, because it will bring you down. I'd rather put my thoughts into actions that I can take to help. But we can't ignore it. The economy is bad right now. It's honestly probably gonna keep staying down for a while at least. So it's definitely something to consider. Not that you have to be, scared of it, but I would recommend, making sure you're buying, trying to buy in those categories. It's hard for me not to buy hats, but if hats aren't going to sell with the economy being down, then I have to make sure I focus my inventory purchases on stuff that is going to sell now, versus, versus that long term. So something to consider and keep in mind. But like I said, I don't want anybody to go out there and just worry about it. Like, you can't, at the end of the day, you can't just sit there and put all your stuff into that. Millennial Prophet in the house. Thank you, Adam. It says, buy gold, buy silver. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a doomsday, whatever. At the end of the day, we have to consider what's going on in the world. I don't want to put a ton of focus into it, and depress myself and get myself down on that, because at the end of the day, you can't change the economy, but you have to figure out how to adapt. So you want to make sure you're adapting to that, and doing the best that you can, which is also one of the things that I'm looking at here on my next part of the list that I'm going to be paying attention to hopefully help with that. All kinds of comments, guys. Let me get caught up here. Let's see. Oh, let me get back, Grim. Sorry. You said 120 listings. Yeah, with 120 listings, I would expect to see some of that variation. Even though, we have that 1% rule or whatever that we like to kind of go by, I would honestly be ready for that and be kind of, it's going to fluctuate quite a bit until, I would say, until you get about 500 listings, and when I found that I kind of got more consistent, where the sales continue to be more consistent. So don't get down, don't be discouraged by that, especially with only 120, unless you're buying just items that sell, crazy amounts, high sell through, electronics, whatever it is, hard goods. You're definitely going to have a little bit of a ups and downs with that many listings. So just keep listing, just keep posting as much as you can, and it will come back up, and you'll start to average out. Let's see. Pete said, if everyone is affected by the slow sales, is that a good time to source since all vendors are struggling too? So yeah, that kind of actually plays into what Adam talks about in some of his videos. We buy through the summer, our sales slow down, but we want to be stacking inventory for fourth quarter because everybody else is slowing down in sales too. Retail, me and Recon, I think we're just talking about this the other day, how clearance sales in the summer are always better than the ones in the winter, because the items that get clearanced out in the winter, people are buying up quicker, they're spending money, they're buying Christmas gifts, they're doing whatever, and the companies are already selling stuff, so they don't have to put as much on clearance. So there's less good items as far as, or less left over that the store actually has to clearance out. The summertime, people aren't buying as much in store. The summer clearance goes up, especially winter type items. They're not going to buy in the summer. So retailers have a lot more to sell. And so that's a great time to stack inventory and get that inventory ready, because you're going to get better deals on this in the summertime than you are in the winter. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to just stop selling, don't want to stop sourcing. Because now is the time you're going to get those good deals. Retailers, guys, are sending out emails every single day. I've never seen retailers send out so many spam emails in my life, but they're sending out every single day. They're hurting. They're having these slowdown in sales just like we are, and just like with the whole economy situation. So they're going to be pushing sales. They're going to be clearancing out. I expect here within the next month or two, when those summer clearance sales start hitting, it is going to be fire. Like, there's going to be a lot of good stuff in there, and you don't want to. I know it's hard to spend money when you're not getting as much money coming in, but that's just part of the game and learning how those ebbs and flows go in the market. And definitely a great time to help or pick up on sourcing for sure, because you are going to get some better deals. Recon said, my thing is that people are busy during spring on weekends with school, sports, and graduation, but that's all speculative. No, I think it is too. Graduation has always been a slow time, even in retail. I take a lot of my experience from my retail experience. I did it for 8 years in management for 6 of those years, I think. And yeah, there's always that slowdown between those holidays and stuff like that. And you're going to see that in online sales as well. We're a retailer. At the end of the day, we're a retailer. We're just only selling online versus in person, but that's not going to change when people are buying, and so on. Buy Bluey. Yeah, Bluey. Bluey's the safest asset. I don't know about you guys in Bluey. I think that was about as sketchy as the stock market and some of that stuff. I know Recon made a ton of money on the Christmas Blueys, but that's crazy. Let's move on. Next item here, we've got some Nike Court Visions that we picked up from the last Kohl's clearance event. Here we go. So picked these up. We paid $45. Half of that's $22.50. So about $24 after tax, $24.25, something like that. And we sold them for $74.99. Going out to Brian in North Carolina. New Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina. These were a great pickup, and Kohl's clearance is always coming in clutch. We've got a Kohl's clearance event coming up. Can't give those dates out, but there it is coming up. If you're interested in those dates, bread and butter is the group to be in. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we do have that event coming up hopefully pretty soon. And I went and sourced, or actually went and looked through some of my stores to see what was coming up, what was already on clearance. And it's looking pretty good, not gonna lie. Gonna be not as many as I'd like, probably not as big as that last giant one we had, but it is definitely looking pretty good, at least for my stores. We'll see how much of it is left once it comes sale time. But like I said, sold these 75, 25 into 75. We will take that all day long. Where was I? I got sidetracked with the sale, of course. Talking about the slowdown as far as the market, like again, buying, selling. You don't want to slow down on just buying. You don't want to stop sourcing because you're not selling. You have to continue sourcing. And like I said, you're going to find some good deals. But just being proactive with it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say is going to be your best bet. Bluey to the moon. Currently packing my whole eBay store for moving. Oh, that's right. This sucks. Did you start your on vacation mode yet? I think you said it was starting this week, maybe next week. Bro, I feel you. I am still, I think about it every day. This move I've got coming up is kind of the next big thing for us. Really looking forward to getting back to Arizona, hopefully, if everything goes well. But yeah, it's stressful trying to think about that move. So I feel you 100% when it comes to packing it all up and getting it all ready. I'm still trying to make sure I'm doing everything I can now to make it easier, because I don't want to make it hard. I want to do everything I can to make it easier. That's why I haven't been buying giant inventory or buying, giant bulk deals, because I really don't want to move it all. I hate doing that because obviously it's not going to help the business by not, skipping out on some of those deals. But at the same time, the quicker I can make this move and the less time I have into it, the more I can spend on actually running the business, which is going to be huge. Yeah, I turned it on this morning. Yeah, you have to let us know how that goes. Are you accepting sales on it? I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't, but are you accepting sales, or you just have it turned completely off? All right, so with sales being slow, so what we talked about is, obviously looking into our inventory. Now the next thing is going to be pricing. Guys, I'm gonna give a big admission here, okay? I'm terrible about this. This is probably the one thing that I have hurt my own business so much for, and it's something that I am going to be addressing this month, or addressing in the next couple of weeks. I do not go back and adjust prices unless I've had it sitting forever and I just want to move it. So this is something that I do not recommend doing. Is holding out. I recommend going in and adjusting your prices to markets, especially if you're selling new, kind of the items that I do. Hats are one thing. Some of the other items you can let leave, but like shoes and stuff like that, the market does change on them. And if you've had it up for 6 months, that's kind of going to be my goal, is anything over 6 months for sure. I have to go back and price and recomp that item to see what it's selling for. I think I hurt myself more in that aspect, is I have a lot of older inventory that just sits there that I'm probably $10 higher than the market price on anymore, and I just never address it. So this is something that, again, the reason, and I'll defend myself here a little bit, the reason I'm that way is because I always felt like I should put more time and invest more time into listing. Okay, I've always had hundreds of items needing to be listed, and so with that, I tend to always think, well, I'd rather get these 100 items listed than go back through and adjust prices on something that I already listed. I feel like, throwing listings at it is going to be the answer. It's worked, and I haven't seen, like I said, I've done great in sales so far. Up in, in my business aspect from it, I don't feel like I'm doing that bad. Okay, but I do feel like I'm leaving a lot of profit and a lot of sales on the table without doing that, and it's something I'm going to address. I've always thought, I'd rather throw up 10 listings than go back through and recomp 10 items that I already bought to make sure the pricing is fair. And that's not smart. That's a terrible move on my part. And so that's why we are going to be looking into it starting this week. We're going to start and going into that. The other thing with that is delisting and relisting. I don't delist and relist. I never have, and I know it helps, and I know it's something like that. But again, I've always wanted to invest my time into putting new listings up. And at this point, I know that's not the right answer. It's going to, we're going to test it out and see how much it improves, and it's hopefully something I can share with you guys and get you guys some actual, evidence, but some actual experience with it. but it is something that's going to be happening. So I'm going to recommend it to you guys, even though I haven't done it. I'm going to recommend it to you guys. If you guys are starting to see a slowdown in sales, it may be a good idea to start going back through some of your old inventory and comping it and comparing it. Now, this isn't going to work if Crystal's still in here. Obviously, we've talked about this. We've had this discussion at length. She sells used clothing, so it's a little bit different market there. But in my markets, I know that there's, this particular hat is going to sell for a certain price. And when I comped it and bought it, it may have been 20 bucks. Okay. But there may have been 100 of these go up on the market and they're not selling that fast. So the price is going to drop down. I need to be competitive in those prices. I don't want to tank it. Obviously I'm not going to go undercut everybody, but I need to make sure that I don't have this listed at 20 and they're selling for 10 now. Terrible example. But if they're listed at 10, no one's going to buy mine at 20, and I'm going to sit on this inventory. I'm going to sit on my investment for a long time when I could have sold it, maybe made a little less than I wanted to, but sold it, got that money back, and reinvested it in something that is going to move. So that's what we're going to be working on, and I would really recommend it. Let's see. Recon said, no, I turned it completely off for 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't blame you. Dude, I delisted and relisted something that should be selling and getting traction, literally changed the title around, and it's gotten almost 150 views in 2 days. See, and that's where I'm missing. I know I am. And it's bad on me, shame on me for not doing it. So hopefully we'll be able to do that this week and actually see some improvement. Now, if you use Vindu, I'm not promoting Vindu, okay? I'm still not sponsored, nothing like that, but I am using their marketplace. We're giving another week to try cross-listing, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But they actually have a delist relist feature on there. According to them, it creates a new listing. It's a new item number and everything. And according to them, you don't have to change the title. We're going to see if that works, okay? Because I've got some items that should have views that aren't. And we're going to try those out first with that delist relist tool. And like I said, they say it gives it a new URL, a new item number and everything on it. And it should work the same as ending and selling similar and adjusting the title or whatever, like Recon stated. We're going to try it out and see how it works. But otherwise, if it doesn't work, then obviously, yes, you want to go in the item completely, sell as similar, and then adjust maybe one other thing in the title or the price or something. Make one change to it, and it should list it as a new item. If you just end and then relist, it puts it right back up under that same item number. So it's not going to actually post into a new category, or it's not going to update and show as a new post to anybody else. So definitely recommend checking that out when you're doing that. Make sure you change something and see how it goes. That's what we're going to be trying out, and I'm hoping that's going to help on a lot of things, because I went through a couple days ago and looked, and there's a bunch of stuff that I have listed that should have sold. One of them, I don't know if Adam's still in here or not, but one of them is the American Eagle underwear. I have a whole bunch of those. Adam talked about them. Sell it. He sold out of them. Wish he had more. No, you can't buy mine. Sorry. But they don't have any views. Like, there's 0 views on them, nothing. And I think it just needs to be delisted or relisted. So we're going to try it out and see how it goes. Oh, you're still here. Awesome, Adam. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, can't buy them. Sorry. I know they're going to sell. I don't know why. I literally found them in a tote the other day and realized I still have a whole tote of them, and went and looked at the listing. There's no views. So again, it's my fault for not relisting and, in doing that. So we're going to address that this week and see if we can pick up our sales doing that. What do we got here? These are the Skechers. This was a great bread and butter call out. First one I've been able to mention here. These were, where did we get these from? I think it was an Amazon deal. I think we paid, I'm gonna have to check because now I can't remember. We got them a while ago. I've had like 3 pairs that haven't sold forever. The price did tank on them a little bit, but these are the steel toe version of these, and they sell really well, or were selling really well, and they've slowed down. Bought these for $13. So great pickup on these, and we sold these for $62.99. Odd price. I don't know what happened there. But $62.99. So great come up on that. And like I said, that was a bread and butter call out. We talk about bread and butter a lot. I'm not just talking about it because Adam's in here, but that is his Discord group that I'm a part of. They've been awesome in allowing me to promote for them and offer a referral link down in the description. But if you have any questions on that group, let me know. I'd be happy to answer questions before you sign up, just to make sure that it's something for you. I'm not going to say it's for everybody, but it has helped me out a ton. And we got a great group of guys over there that help out, and girls. I say guys all the time, guys. I apologize. There's a lot of ladies over there that help out too. But they do great work and are just a great community to be a part of. But if you are interested, let me know. I can answer any questions you might have before we dig into that. I don't know why I stuck those shoes over there. I'm really lacking today. Let's see, comments. Adam said, I missed the American Eagle undies. I had the hottest undies listing on the planet for those. You must have. I didn't get it. Probably Attaboy Amazon call out. Yeah, exactly. They were. I'm pretty sure he was the one that called them out. I mean, $14 for those, you can't beat it. We just picked up and actually sold another pair of, I believe they're the same shoe. Let's see, Afterburners. These the Afterburners? No, okay, they're not the same shoe. They look really similar. But that was in a Kohl's call out, or a Kohl's clearance call out, I think, that I put up. We actually sold some of those, so we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, great call out there. Can't beat steel toes for $14. It's just unreal. Definitely miss Attaboy's call outs over there. But we do it, like I said, it's a great community to be a part of, and it's helped us out. I never don't make, how should I put it? The leads that are called out, I never don't get my money back from it. Let's put it that way. So, you know, yeah, it is $40 a month, but the leads that are called out are great, and I always make well over $40 in profit from a lead every single month that I'm in there. And so it's definitely worth it just for that aspect. But like I said, there's a lot of guys over there that have a lot of experience to help out. So the next thing on my list for what I'm going to be doing to try to help curb some of the summer slowdown, or not summer slowdown, but help boost my sales basically, is going to be, like I said, we are going to look into adjusting prices and making sure that we're still competitive. I'm not going out and tanking. I'm not dropping my prices just to get sales. I'm making sure that I'm competitive in my market for those items to make sure that they aren't going to be just sitting there, you know, being $20 listed $20 higher than everybody else, because no one's going to buy it at that point. But the next thing that we are going to do is the cross listing. So Crystal, we were just talking about this on the phone, actually right before the stream here, talking about the difference in, you know, selling on other platforms and should we be selling on Mercari and stuff like that. I've been cross listed. I've got about 300 active listings on Mercari from cross listing. And I have about that many on Whatnot now because of Whatnot's marketplace. And the cross listing feature, like I said, I wouldn't even be listing on Whatnot if it wasn't for Vindu. Literally, you click once and it listed over there, so it's really nice. But Mercari has been kind of my focus, that I'm trying to cross list and get more listings up over there. This Care Bear Funko Pop sold for $17.99. This is an Earth Day exclusive from Walmart. I picked up so many of these. I don't know why. I don't think they were cheap either. I think they were regular price, $13 or whatever. This is part of my Funko Pop collection that I'm just getting rid of, and I'm just literally pricing it at market. I'm probably losing money on some of them, but I just need them out of the house. And they don't sell. The market has tanked so bad on Funko Pops. Funko did that. Not people necessarily tanking, but they just mass produced them so much that it's just not worth it, and the values have gone down. So don't recommend Funko Pops. Don't ever buy Funko Pops if you're seeing them off here. There are some exceptions. Actually, we talked about that in the last video. Some of those ones that we sold that we broke even on, we could have made a little bit probably if I'd have held out, because they are selling super fast now. But I don't recommend Funko Pops. There's just too volatile of a market, and yeah, resale is not what it used to be for sure. But that is something that I did have cross-listed over Mercari and Whatnot, because they do tend to sell better over there. And we have gotten, like I said, 1 or 2 sales, I think, from Whatnot, or at least 1 sale from Whatnot, and then like 3 sales from Mercari in the past couple of weeks. But it's not great. And so I've been considering, you know, is it a waste of time, whatever, but I can cross this with Vindu doing it on my phone, and I can do all watching TV with the wife or whatever. Like, I can literally do it wherever I'm at. So that's why I've kept it, and that's why I'm going to keep looking into it. I do need to go through on Mercari and adjust some pricing, because obviously that market, you know, is going to come down with the fees being charged over there on some items. So I do need to do a little bit of comping over there and maybe adjust the prices a little bit, or I might just start sending offers. Apparently that's what everybody likes on Mercari, is for you to send them offers. I get hundreds of, like, literally I've gotten hundreds of likes since I posted stuff up over there, and I think people are just waiting for you to send them a better offer. So we'll see how it goes. But I do want to get into the cross listing. I feel like there is money to be made there. A lot of people have very good success with that. I just don't think I've actually put very much effort into it. So I need to put more effort into it, and we are going to be working on that. I've imported almost all my eBay items now into Vindu, so it's allowing me to cross this better. You don't have to use Vindu, guys. It's just a tool. It is costly, honestly. especially at first if you have a large store. But it just makes it really easy, and that's why I'm doing it. I'm trying to, see if it works out. I'm going to give it a month or two here, and if it does, if I'm not seeing an increase in sales, actually putting effort into it, if I don't see an increase in sales, then I'll probably drop it, and then I'll just manually cross list things that I feel like will sell over there. But for now, I do want to give it an honest, full attempt. I don't want to just say, oh, it didn't work for me, and I gave it half-hearted. I do want to get into it and actually put an attempt to get some sales over there, and we'll see how it goes. So that's kind of my third thing that I'm going to be working on this week, to adjusting my prices, making sure they're good, delisting and relisting, and then going in and actually doing some more earnest effort into cross-listing and seeing if we can boost some sales that way. Obviously, cross-listing, guys, puts your item in front of more buyers, and that's what you want. That's the whole reason of doing it, is to hopefully put it in front of other people. And you never know, that one person that's looking on eBay may never look on Mercari, or they may. It just depends. Let's see. Recon said Bluey Funko Pops. You guys in here bluey, I don't know. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Red Salute to Service hat. These are really cool. I really liked this year's models. What year was this? 2023, looks like. It was a really cool design. I really liked it. I wish I could have found one for Tampa Bay, but I couldn't find it whenever I was looking for them. This one's going out to Amber. We sold this one for $54.99, and that one is going out to Ohio. Cool Cincinnati Reds hat, though. Like I said, we pay averaging $13 for these. Is what we get for these particular ones. That leads us into my next area of what I'm going to do to boost sales. Now, this is not something I would recommend to resellers unless you have a very strong presence in a certain market and you plan on keeping that presence. For instance, I started with bin store items, thrift store, whatever, moved into more retail arbitrage. Now I've really focused on just sportswear, and stuff like that more than anything, shoes. But I plan on that. I plan on shoes and hats kind of being my staple, my bread and butter items that I'm going to continue to put in, a certain portion of my profit or my investment into those categories. And I plan on keeping that. So with that, you can look into other ways to get that product in front of people. One of the things with me, I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to, words are not coming out of my mouth. One of the advantages I have is I'm being able to have some sources into some old stock of hats and sportswear and stuff like that. So whether that's hats like this one, obviously is a 2023, but one of these ones I sold the other day, or maybe I sold it a couple days ago. Was a 2021 hat. Okay, it's an old stock item that people still want, but it's just hard to shop for. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I think we've talked about this, is opening up my own website. The whole point of the website is going to be just focusing on selling what I refer to as dead stock. It's kind of the going term for it. Dead stock hats and shoes and stuff like that. So dead stock, if I have it correctly, I think this came from the shoe market or something like that. It's basically brand new old stock. Okay, so this is, our brand new shoes here. These Skechers might be 2-3 years old. It's a discontinued model, whatever it is, but we still have it brand new. That's what would be considered a dead stock item. This is a dead stock hat that we just packed up here, going out to Amber in Ohio. It's an old hat that we still have. It's new, it's brand new, it's not used or anything like that, but we still have inventory of it, whereas it's a discontinued model. They're not making it, it's not being sold anywhere. With hats, that's a huge market that a lot of people want to find. They want to find an old hat, they like this style or whatever, and they weren't able to buy it then. If you have that, you can get great prices for them. That's why I can get more than retail. I talk about it all the time. I don't say it to be bragging or braggadocious, whatever you want to say. But this hat retailed for $45 and we sold it for $55. That's one of the advantages of dead stock hats and collector's hats, as far as, the 5950s and stuff like that, is if you're the only one that has available, you can sell it for more. That's one of the advantages I have with some of my sources and what I'm being able to get into. And so for me, it's hard to get kind of a follow, or it's easier to get a following when you carry one particular item or one particular style of items. So I was actually talking to one of my local hat stores. I go in all the time, buy out some of their clearance whenever they have it, and they get it, good deal for me or whatever. I was in there talking with him, and he was like, "Hey, do you have a place I can send people? Because people come in all the time asking about different hats that we may have sold out of, or that, that we've had in the past." And he's like, "I know you have some. You've bought them from me." He's like, "I know you have some of these hats. Do you have a website?" So I sent him my eBay and stuff, but like he said, if I could get a social media following for hats and particular things, I could do really well selling to that market and get people that come directly and buy directly from me. Obviously, with my own website, I'm going to be able to get less fees. I'm not going to have to pay as many fees. I'll have to pay to run the website, and I'll have to pay for payment processing, which is like 2 or 3%. Well, most is about 3% always, but I'll have way less fees. I can make more money that way, and people will come directly to me and buy them. I already have repeat buyers on eBay all the time that come in and buy hats from me, which is great. The repeat buyer is awesome, because a lot of times they'll come to you directly and not even search for it. So you can even maybe get a little bit more than what somebody else has it listed for, because they've done business with you. With building that website, that's my goal, is to take those repeat buyers, get some of that access. I've already got a few guys that I know that are in the hat game that are, couple of social media Instagrammers and stuff like that. They don't have huge followings, but I know they would be willing and able to help me out with promoting that, which is kind of the big thing when creating your website. It's hard to do all the promotion and marketing. So I've got some inroads. We're going to try it out. It's going to be a test more than anything. It may not work great, and it may be one of those things like Mercari that's not working for me right now, but I feel like I need to give it a start. I've always wanted to. And now that I have some categories and I've built up a large enough inventory where I can justify having a store just for that, we're going to try it out. We're going to see if it's worth it, and it may lead into other things. Who knows? But for now, we are going to start. The Sixers hat sold to Veronica in Pleasant Grove, and it's just a snapback. I think we paid $10 for these. I don't even remember where I got these ones from, but sold it for $39.99 on the Sixers hat there, which isn't too bad. So that's going to be kind of my other focus. The next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm really going to put a lot of time into that, getting it set up, getting, what's it called? Can't even think now that I'm distracted. Getting the graphics done for it, all that stuff. It's going to take a lot of time, and I'm a perfectionist, so it's going to take even more. But we're going to work on that and try to give ourselves another avenue of income. And it's something too, if I can get a good enough following on there, that maybe if, God forbid, something was to happen with my eBay account or anything like that, it would allow me to hopefully have something built up to where it could at least sustain me till I got another option. But who knows? It could blow up and it could be a large thing. We'll see. Have no idea, but we don't know until we try, and that's why we are going to put some effort into it. So I've got some time. I've actually slowed down on sourcing, not because of anything like that. I actually spent way more in sourcing last month than I intended to. So I've slowed down just a little bit this month because I don't want to overextend myself. But that's going to give me some more time. I'm not going to have as much stuff to list, and it's going to allow me to have a little bit more spare time to invest into this adventure, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I said, it may bomb terribly, but I feel like it's worth giving a shot. I've got the time right now, and so we'll give it our best shot and see how it goes. Next sale up is these Kai sandals, flip-flops. So these men's 12s. We picked these up a while back from a Kohl's sale. Let's see, what did we spend on these? I don't remember what we spent on these. Sold them for $30, and I want to say, yeah, I picked them up for $12. So 12 into 30, not terrible. Got to get myself a envelope, or not envelope, a poly mailer, and we'll ship these out. Keep them under £1, and helps the shipping. So that is kind of what I'm looking at, guys. What do you guys have any ideas? Do you guys have any other ideas as far as what might help in sales? What myself or anybody else may not be doing? Let me know in the comment box or in the chat. Any recommendations to making sure you're getting as many sales as possible without taking drastic measures. Because I know, like I said, a lot of people when slow sales start to happen and stuff, they panic and they start selling ridiculously low, or they'll start selling, trying to just drop inventory and stuff like that. That's not going to help you in the long run. Yeah, it might solve a minor issue right now with cash flow or whatever, but it's not going to help you in the end, because then you don't have that inventory to sell at your higher rate later on. So I don't recommend, panicking, but I do recommend looking into it. Don't ignore it. Don't panic, but don't ignore it. Don't put so much effort into that you stress yourself out and cause yourself, mental anxieties. I do that myself, and that's not good either. Something we want to talk about in a future video, if you guys are interested in it, talking about the stresses of reselling and how to make sure you don't hurt your mental health with it. Because as a business owner, it doesn't matter what business you have, you're always going to have a different level of stress compared to just going to a 9 to 5 job and getting a paycheck at the end of the week. So it's something that's very common. I actually heard, I don't know if you guys follow Trash to Cash podcast. That's a word full there. If you follow them at all, they actually talk about, they in their last video, and they it's a crazy podcast. There's just if you've watched it, you know what I mean. They are thrift and garage sale sellers and stuff like that. I don't do that, but they're entertaining, and that's why I watch. But they actually talked about that in one of their most recent episodes, and it really got me thinking, it may be a good topic for us to just kind of discuss. I want to put some more info or some more effort into researching some stuff. But there's a whole nother level of stress and stuff, and I know slow sales can affect that. I know slow sales make you panic. It does me, honestly. Like I said, this weekend it was rough. I was sitting there constantly checking my phone, hoping that I got another sale in, and not that it ruined the weekend, but it takes some time out of your weekend, and you lose that downtime that you should have to be recuperating from working so hard. Because let's be honest, guys, we're resellers. We know we put in a lot of effort, and we know we put in a lot of work to make this business happen. So don't lean on yourself too hard. Give it a chance. Just do what you can, and we hope for the best, and we'll keep going with it. Let's see. Green says, I spent 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday reviewing price, etc., adjusting quite a few, but also tried the 2% ad fee on some items and instantly sold some items that I've had since last summer. Interesting. So that is something you could do too. I don't play into the promoting thing. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. I am one of those people that I don't like giving eBay more money. I shouldn't say that. I don't mind giving eBay more money if it works, but I don't like the whole choose how much you give them and we'll choose how much we promote. Okay. That to me, I don't like that business model. Okay, if I pay 2% and you're going to put me in the top 10, that makes sense. But don't tell me if you pay 2%, we might put you in the top 10, but if somebody paid 2.1%, then they're going to be higher. I just don't like that business model, so I've never encouraged it. But that's not to say it doesn't work. And I'll be honest, I do sell from promoted listings. I do promote a few things, especially if it's in a super high category. There's a lot of competition. I'll promote. Or if I'm trying to sell something quickly, I do promote as well. So I'm not going to say it's bad, and I'm not going to badmouth it, but I just personally hate doing it because I don't like the whole concept of it. But if it helps, it helps, and it's something you could look into as well. Crystal said, this is the worst that the mental stress has been on me since I started 7 years ago. Yeah, Crystal, I can't say, like I said, it would be different if I was in a financial spot that, it was hurting me really bad financially. Obviously, I don't want to see sales grow. What basically I've had to do is kind of slow down on some of my sourcing more than anything. No, I shouldn't say that. I've not slowed down. I've just haven't spent as much as last year. So I'm still investing all my cost of goods back into my business, and I'm additional probably 20% of my profit goes back into, investing in the business and growing it. But I've had to slow down on that, where last year I was putting in almost 50% of my profit back into the business. I've had to slow down to like 20 because I don't, I'm not in that spot. If it got down to the spot where, it was affecting me not being able to make my bills and stuff, then it would be even worse. And I don't fault anybody for that. That's huge. And, there's a lot of resellers out there that, it's been slow, it's been rough, and so on. And it's hard to get that momentum back. Crystal, I know we've talked a lot. We talked, quite a bit throughout the week. And it's stressful, and it's hard. I mean, especially if you already are like me. I have, anxiety issues and stuff like that I go through, have all my life. So it stacks on top of that. And it's something that you can't ignore. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. I know it's not exactly, comfortable a lot of times, but don't put your mental health and all of that last just because, you feel like, you're over exaggerating, whatever. Definitely look into it. It's something not to be joked about. I don't want to say joked about. I joke about it all the time with, myself and stuff, but it's something to take serious. Okay. is something to not feel like you're any lesser a person or whatever because you have those. Because I guarantee if you're a reseller, you have at some point gone through a very stressful time, and if you haven't yet, you will. But the thing to remember is you can get through it. You can always make it work. You have to, work through it. Always remember that there's going to be there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, for the lack of a more original term. And you just have to keep fighting and keep pushing for it and doing your best and working on it and doing whatever you can to make sure it works. And that's a business owner. That's what we go through. That's what that's the whole point of it. That's what the guy that runs Hobby Lobby or wherever that you worked at before, they did that too. You didn't have to worry about it. You got a paycheck every day, but they had to worry about that. That's why they made the decisions that they did. Not saying they were great, but they make those decisions and you just have to roll with it. That's what we have to do every day. So don't lose hope. Okay, that's I guess what I'm saying. I'm not here to give you an inspirational message, but don't lose hope. Instead of focusing on what happens if, try to focus on what can I do now to make it better. What can I invest my time in that's going to help with it. I'm not going to say everything's going to help, but you can sit there and think about the worst case scenario all day long. But at the end of the day, you would be better off taking that time that you spent thinking about that and looking into your store, looking into what you can do to make yourself better and more profitable. Your time is way more better off invested in that than it is in thinking about what the terrible thing, I guess you could say. You don't ignore it. You don't act like it's not there, but you make sure you invest as much time as you can into bettering yourself versus what's the word? I don't know what the word is. Just make sure you're not focusing all your attention on the bad and trying to figure out how you can make it better, I guess is what I would say. I definitely won't want to give them more money, but I am experimenting. No, I agree. And I don't, like I said, I'm not sitting here saying it's a bad thing because a lot of people do it and a lot of people have seen great response from it. I've seen good response from it. I just, prefer not to if I don't have to. I don't mind giving eBay money. Again, I'm with Adam on this one. He talks about it in his videos. If eBay's charging 50%, they're doing all the work for me. Literally, they're putting my item in front of all these buyers that I never could without them. So I don't mind paying them their percentage. I just don't like the chance aspect of paying a percentage and them being like, well, you might be up here if somebody else doesn't outbid you, sort of thing. I just don't like that. But that's just my opinion on it. Mental health is everything. It is everything. It literally is. I'm holding the shoe and I'm not talking about it, but we got some good topics here that we're discussing. Mental health, guys. For a long time, I've tried to ignore it, tried to just push it out. You can't do it. You got to find either somebody that can help you out with it, talking to, whether it's a friend, a close friend, a relative, whatever it is, somebody you trust, somebody that you feel like is going to do what's best for you. And if not, there's nothing wrong going to a therapist or something like that to help out. There's always going to be a counselor, anything like that. It's always going to be a huge help. Excuse me. Something got my throat. All right. These are those sketches I was talking about earlier. We actually just picked these up from a recent Kohl's clearance event online. Oh, excuse me. One moment, guys. All right. Maybe that'll help. It gets me every time, once per episode. This was actually the pickup, like I said, from an online event. They really didn't have hardly anything in that clearance event. I don't even think I went in store for this one. But we did pick these up online, and they are sold this one for $69.99. I think we paid, let me find out. I think we paid $25 for these. $23 is what we paid for these ones. And I actually ended up getting some of these free with my Kohl's cash that I had received. So we actually have less than that, but I went ahead and calculated it in there. $23 for this pair, and we sold it for $69.99. Great sale on those. They are going to be a little bit slower mover. It's not a super popular color. That brown color isn't, but I think they're going to sell well. Like I said, Skechers have always done really well for me, at least especially the work boot type style. I sold a ton of them on Amazon before I quit selling them on Amazon because of the returns and stuff, just with shoes in general. But even on eBay, they move, and hopefully, I think we ended up with like 15 pairs of these in different sizes. These are a size 10, so a pretty standard size, but they are wide, extra wide fit. So I find Skechers in the wide and even New Balance in wide sell really well. I don't think they're as readily available, so I think a lot of people do shop for them online. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, going out to Louisville, Kentucky for these ones. Michael, let's add the tracking to it. Ooh, all right. What were we talking about? Well, I know what we were talking about, but what were we going to move on to? Do you guys have anything else? Like I said, anything that, you feel has helped out with sales, or, or something that you're doing to try to, get more sales without just going and buying new inventory? That has always been my solution, is the more inventory I have, the more sales I make, which is true. But at the end of the day, you can't sit on thousands of dollars of inventory if it's not going to sell. So that's something that I've been working on, trying to figure out, what items are just kind of a lost cause that I just need to drop down to the market value, at least the very lowest of the market value, to get rid of them. I've had some bad buys, and so those are sitting, and I don't want to move them. So I'm trying to figure out how to kind of get rid of some of those. At some point, you may have to take a loss, but just got to deal with it as it comes. Let's see. Next up on the list for sales, we are actually down to the last couple of labels here. I've got a couple more. I forgot to grab a pair of shoes, which sucks. I wanted to show you guys those ones that we sold, so maybe I'll show you a picture, but let's keep moving on to the next one. We've got these Terry shorts. If you guys remember, this was back, I think this was the Kohl's sourcing video that I did a long time ago. It's probably been a year. We bought a bunch of women's running shorts and stuff like that they had on clearance. And this one here, it was a buy that I did that I wasn't sure on. I hadn't sold them in the past. So I just kind of went off of the current comps on Amazon, I think, at the time, because I was selling a lot of these on Amazon. I still sell them on Amazon. I find Adidas and some of these brands do okay. Women's clothing is not a great brand or a great thing to sell on Amazon, though, because I feel like they return more than men. That could just be me. Maybe that's completely unfounded, but it's not what I would recommend. I did sell these on Amazon, so we'll see if they come back. But we got $30 for them, and we paid, what did I just say, the tag on it, $7 for these. So 7 into 30 is a pretty good deal, and I don't mind selling them as much, even if they get returned, because the shipping is only going to be a couple, $4, $5, whatever for the return. But we'll see if they stay sold. But we are starting to sell them. So the whole point of that, we are starting to sell the Adidas stuff, or the Adidas running stuff that we did buy from that Kohl's event. So there is money in it, but we'll see how well it goes as we move along here. I keep getting messages from people, and I'm not sure what's going on. This is going out to Robin in Naples, Florida. Like I said, she paid $30 for these. If I can find the label, there it is. Next up on the sale, we actually sold another one. Oh, we got some comments. There are some chats here. Let me see. Crystal said, sourcing more so I could list more has always been my solution too, but we need every sale to pay our bills right now. So I'm definitely needing ideas to boost sales in current inventory. Yeah, I'm the same way. I've always just been, I'll just go buy more stuff to make more money, which is great in some ways. But again, if you're, at that point that you're not getting the income coming back in, then you do have to readjust it. Recon said I was packing the container. I have more space than predicted. Nice. That's a good thing, I guess, unless it's really empty. Yeah, Crystal, like I said, I think we talked about cross listing this morning. I think that's a great one to try. It obviously just takes the inventory that you have and gets it in front of more people. We've talked about your pricing and stuff, and like I said, used clothing is a whole nother market, so it's kind of hard to say for sure on that one, what the best strategy is for that. But other than that, as far as making sure your pricing is good, just maybe going through and seeing what are really low performing. I know views is broken, so to speak, but I think it still gives you some sort of an idea. You can't say if it has 0 views that it's not getting views. But if there's something that you feel like should be selling or should be more popular, look into it, see if it's something that you can adjust the title on. Again, if you've been doing it 7 years, I don't think you're going to have an issue with not having good titles. I'm going to be honest with you on that. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to be it either, but it's just going to be that constant just re-looking into what you're doing. Obviously, you can't make people buy. So you have to figure out what you have to do to make it more enticing, whether it's putting it in front of different people by cross-listing or putting it into, doing sales and promotions. That's something I am going to look into also. I don't know if I want to just go through and drop prices on everything that's, you know, low, but I may go through and try running a sale on some of it first to see if I can sell some of it by putting a sale. So, you know, if I'm going to drop it $10 and it's a $100 item, maybe I'll do a 10% off sale on that particular item instead, and just see if that boosts and helps it sell. Because I do feel like sales bring people into looking. If they find a good deal on an item that they're looking for, they may look at other items you sell. And if they see it's on sale, it kind of works as a sale in a store. You buy more, it's on sale, you know. That's the whole reason retail companies do sales, is because it gives the person the feeling that they're getting a good deal, so they'll spend more. So we may look into that also, and it may be something. I know you run sales a lot too, Crystal, on some of your stuff, but just trying to figure out what might be that difference, you know. That's what I'm going to be doing. You just have to look at ways to promote your inventory versus going out and buying, which is actually harder than just going out and buying, I feel like, because I can always find stuff to make money on, or at least I think I can make money on. Obviously, if I have an abundance of inventory that's not selling, I don't know everything. I just packaged these and didn't tell you guys what they were. Those are some more of those Adidas running shorts. They're actually not the Terry ones though, the sweat short type. These are the actual sport mesh, or not mesh, sport material. And they sold for $24.99. We paid $7.50 for those ones, so a little bit less on that, but we did get them sold, and they are starting to move on the weekly here now. It's just taking a little bit of time. This next one is a Nike hat that we picked up. I actually paid half off of 25, so $12.50 for this guy, which is a little more than I would have spent normally. The tag's a little messed up on it, but we sold it for $29.99, so I knew it would sell pretty quick, and we got, and like I said, I think I listed this last week, and it already sold. It is a size small, which is interesting, size small medium, so it sold pretty quickly for being that size, but it is a Nike golf hat. I think it's considered a golf. This is the classic 99, so maybe not, but that's going out today for $29.99. So $12.15 to $29. That's honestly probably the lowest profit I've made on a hat, but I knew it would sell fairly quick, and that's why we bought them. This next couple of sales here, actually a couple more of those as well. Crystal said, giving cross-listing a solid effort to see if it makes a difference. If not, I may wholesale my whole store for $5 a piece and make a quick 20K in restarts. There you go. I mean, that's a lot of work to look into there. But definitely I would definitely give cross-listing a thing. And I mean, it is summertime. I try to have a positive outlook on summer, slow down, and try to, you know, say, you know, it's not the worst thing ever, but it is a case. And, you know, I know obviously, like you said, Crystal, it's, you know, coming to the point where you have to figure out what to do for your bills and stuff. You have to do what you got to do. And at the end of the day, like I think we've talked about it too, you know, if it ever gets to that point with me, I'm going to have to go get a job, and I'm going to have to go do that. And, you know, you guys are already looking into that, I know. So, you know, I don't want people to get the idea that this is all just peaches and roses and everything, you know, nice. That's not how the saying goes, but you know, there are some downtimes and there are some hard times. But that's not to say that you can't make it happen. And I wouldn't have quit my job. I had a very good full-time job. I mean, exactly what I wanted, pretty much. But at the end of the day, this was, you know, it was offering not more money. I'm making less money than I did before, but it's offering me the, you know, some of the benefits and stuff, and that's why I went for it. I wouldn't go for it if I didn't feel like I could make it happen. And at the end of the day, though, if it didn't work out, you know, I knew what I would have to do. You have to make those calls on your own and for your particular circumstances, and I don't fault anybody for that whatsoever. So let's see. Next up on the order list, we've got the shampoo. We sell this all the time, but we do have some more VO5 going out. Let's see. We picked these up from a bulk deal from a bin store a long time ago. I still have a ton of it left. I thought it was down. I've sold well over half of it, but I still have a lot left, and it, you know, is what it is. I paid 50 cents a bottle for these, so $1 total invested, and we're selling it for $16.99 over on Amazon. Yeah, this is Amazon. I sell it on eBay and Amazon, but Amazon I tend to get a few more listings. This is a discontinued item, so they don't make this anymore, and that's why people are willing to spend, you know, these are, I honestly think these are $2 or $3 a bottle in the store. I think they're like $3.50, maybe $4, when they sold them in the store. He's always fitting this. What's going on? struggling today. But yeah, so people are paying up to like $10 a bottle even on some of my other listings, and so I will take it. But we paid about 50 cents a bottle for these here. I am putting it in the USPS priority mail label, or priority mail padded, to go in a box. We've talked about that in last videos. What else do we have going on in the world besides? Like I said, guys, if you have questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to post them. I might move on to a different topic, but that doesn't mean we can't go back. Let's see. Oh, I've got all kinds of good stuff. I got another negative feedback. Let's talk about the negative first. We'll talk about positive afterwards. Okay, we don't want to end on a negative note. Got another negative feedback. Wonderful buyer tried to extort a partial refund out of me, claimed that the hat I sold him was not brand new. It was brand new. It's brand new. He said, oh, it didn't have the price tag, so it wasn't brand new. I took the price tag off because he paid $10 to $15 more than what the retail was on it, so I wouldn't leave that. Claimed it wasn't new. It was. He messaged me and said it wasn't new, and he liked the hat. He felt that a $20 refund would make it fair, and I told him he could return the whole item, and I would give him his refund minus the shipping cost, and he just left me a negative feedback. He never responded to the offer and left me a negative. That's negative number 8 for this year. And I am fed up. I'm so frustrated with eBay on it. Not because they won't remove it. Okay, I get their whole thing with that. But there are several, like that one. Okay, yeah, that is his opinion that it wasn't new when it was. I can prove that it was the exact item in the photos. If the photos showed it didn't have the price tag, it showed it only had the one, the top tag, whatever. He got exactly what he was pictured. eBay won't do anything about it, of course, now. And that's frustrating. I can take that. It's the ones that right now is really frustrating me is I have like 2 negatives that they removed the comment but didn't remove the negative. That's what Amazon does all the time, and that one is frustrating me. Like I've got 2 of those now. I think I've got 2. I know I have 1 for sure. That they removed the comment and like it's just a negative now, so there's no thing to it. I can't respond to it. I tried responding to it, doesn't let me respond because there's no comment, so it won't let me respond to it. Requested a revision, reported the feedback. They won't remove it either. So I'm now up to 8. My store is at the lowest I think I've ever had, which is crazy and really frustrating. But at the end of the day, what can you do? I know feedback doesn't matter, so to speak, but it's frustrating because like I'm below. I'm like at a 98, I think now, 98.9 or something in feedback, and I know it doesn't affect some people in feedback, but once it starts hitting below like the 98 mark, you got to kind of start to worry about it a little bit. And it's just frustrating that it's stuff that you can't, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, you're not out there scamming. You're not out there sending buyers broken items, whatever. And you're still getting hit for it. I know it doesn't affect metrics, which is good on eBay. But if it did, we'd really be in trouble. But it's just frustrating to me that they won't even consider it now. It's literally impossible to get a feedback removed. Let's see. Some stores sell hats with MSRP tags. Yeah, MSRP tags on them. These people, man, I know. I just don't get it. I don't understand how people think they can get away with some of it, but they do. Let's see. Question about Vindu. Any issue with delisting? I'm still not sure why I can't seem to sort this out. I've reached out to their team assistants, but nothing seems to work for me. Where is it not delisting from? Mine is working. They actually got mine fixed. My eBay, if it sells on Mercari, it delists from eBay. It's delisting from all of them. So my whatnot item that I sold delisted from both Mercari and eBay instantly, which is great. It was really awesome. So I forgot to update you guys on that. I feel bad about that now. They did get it fixed. I don't know what they did, and they never told me necessarily, but they told me they'd be working on it, and every time I get a sale, I check now, and it's been doing really great. They've actually also been, if you go and load into Vindu, it's now, if I didn't have it loaded up on my computer, which every now and then I close it out for this live stream and then forget, if you open up the website, it pulls all your eBay orders or wherever orders, and then it delists those items too. So even though it wasn't up when it sold, it is delisting them too, which is really nice. So it may not delist instantly if you don't have that web page up, but if you load into it, it should pull down anything it detects sold on eBay or whatever. It'll pull it down from the other sites. So that has been super nice and has saved me a little bit there. So, but yeah, like I said, we are completely working on Vindu with that. I sell on eBay Mercari. If I sell on eBay, Mercari does not delist. Oh, Have you tried? Well, if you've talked to their support, they probably told you to disconnect your store and then reconnect it. That would probably be my suggestion. Otherwise, yeah, I would be up to them. I would just keep messaging them about it. They do great, but I know they've got a lot of, they've gotten a lot of new people because they now offer Whatnot as a quick list or whatever. You did that too. Yeah. I would just keep messaging them, telling them, hey, it's still not updated. They were great with me. Like I said, it took them like 2-3 weeks to get mine fixed, but they did get it fixed. And it's still in beta. I know they're still working with that, but definitely make sure you have, for me also, I don't know if this matters, but when I have the page up with Vindu, I also have a Mercari tab and I also have an eBay tab. That way those tabs are up and loaded. I don't know if you have to have that. I just do it, and it works for me right now. But definitely something, you might want to look into. I reported him on eBay and eBay did nothing. Wait, what? Maybe I missed. Oh, I missed your comment. I got a negative feedback for underwear because the idiot said they were ripped and fell apart while he washed them. He kept spamming me for a refund, and I said no, and then he left negative feedback. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they have the proof, they have everything they need to see the comment, and they were before, but now they just refuse to do anything about it. You talk to eBay for Business on Facebook, they won't even they won't even touch it. They tell you, they send you the link to report the feedback, and then nothing happens. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. I know it shouldn't. I know you shouldn't let it get to you, and I try not to. But I'm at that point now. Like I said, I've got 8 in the past year, so my feedback rating has dropped. I've never had it less than a 99%, and now it drops. And now with the photo thing, like the guy uploaded pictures of the hat, there was nothing wrong with it. The brim was bent just a little bit, and I think it was because of the box. I think I may have just crammed it in the box wrong, and it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating. I know it shouldn't be, but it gets to me. I'll stay on it. I do like it. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those nice things. It works really well. Even without the D-list feature, obviously I wouldn't pay as much for it without the D-list feature, but they have a great platform, and like I said, the support from them has been great. It's been really helpful. Bobby Kicks, what's up? Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it. All the negative feedback that I have received so far is because of wrong shoe sizes. Really? I haven't even gotten that. I've had a couple. I actually have one today. I had a message come in today that I sent the wrong size. I don't know how. It was one of my the priority mail shoe boxes that I write the number on and everything. I don't know how. I didn't grab the wrong number, so I must have just listed it wrong. But I had the wrong size. I sent them 13s instead of 10s. But I've had a couple of those recently that have been mistakes on my end, and they're super good about it. I mean, they send it out. I did send out a pair of Kohl's shoes from the Kohl's clearance event that had the tag still on it. The buyer contacted me and asked no refunds ? And I said, well, you can return, but you're going to pay the shipping, is what I told him. And I actually told him I was going to deduct $20 out of his cost. I'd send him a label, but I was going to deduct like $25 out of the cost for the shipping labels. He was fine with it. He sent them back, and I got them. And he never mentioned the Kohl's clearance tag on it, and I popped it out of the box and seen the clearance tag. So he must not have still wanted them. I don't know exactly why, because he didn't mention it. And his refund was basically what the Kohl's tag said. So he lost $20 on it. It didn't cost me anything. But I've had really good luck with people with wrong sizes and stuff. They haven't complained too much. My negatives have all been just ridiculous buyers. Like I've done customer service a long time. I know when to pick my battles as far as, when you can smooth it over with somebody and when you can't. There gets to a point like the guy with the partial refund. I told him, I said, it was a brand new hat. We don't buy used hats. We don't sell used hats. It'll clearly state it if there is. But you're welcome to send it back. Once we get it back, we'll refund you minus the shipping cost. And then he left a negative feedback because he was just fishing for a partial. And I don't know why they feel like leaving a negative is going to do them any good, but it is what it is. I got my goat, I guess. So they got what they wanted out of it. What if eBay and Mercari merged? Ugh. I hope not. It wouldn't do any good, in my opinion. I don't think it would help anything. I think competition is good. I think competition helps more than it hinders a lot of times when it comes to other selling platforms. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel like anybody only shops Mercari. Like, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure there's a smallest percentage that do, but I just don't feel like that they have that market share. I just realized I look like a hunchback when I'm leaning over like that. So I don't know. I don't see it doing much good, but that's my opinion. Who knows? It could. How much is Vindu? Vindu it differs by how many listings you have, and how many. So what I did with Vindu, I'll talk about that real quick. When you sign up for Vindu, there's categories, and it's a different price per different category. Each category has a certain amount of listings you can import at a time per month. So right now I'm on the 250 listings per month I can import into Vindu. And then it has how many total items you can have in Vindu. So my current category, I believe, is, I could be wrong on this, I believe it's 3,000 total items I can have in my store. And then in my or in Vindu, and then I get 250 new ones every month. I believe is how that works. So I can import 250 new listings every month. I started with a way higher plan because I wanted to import all my stuff at one time. So it was like $100, but you got like 40-50% off. So it was like $60 for the first month. I imported 2,000 listings into it, and then I dropped my subscription down to what it is now, which I think is 40 a month, if I remember correctly, 30 or 40 a month for 250 items. And like I said, 3,000 or 5,000. I can't remember how many total listings I have is allowed in it. So I'm not going to be importing a lot of my multi-sized hats. For instance, I sold all of them. Oh, and I threw this one on the ground. So for instance, if I had, 5 different sizes of this, I'm not going to import those. And there's a lot of listings that I have multiple sizes of shoes or whatever. I'm not importing those into that because Mercari, number one, you can't. If I have 10 different sizes of shoes listed and I import it into Vindu, it's only going to pull one listing, and I can't list multiple sizes on Mercari unless I have individual listings for them. So I don't even try to cross list those right now, but I do like anything that is, one item per listing, or I might have 10 of these, but is one variation. I process. So that's why I've kind of kept it down to that 250. I do about, I was doing about 300 listings a month. I've dropped it down to about 200 listings a month now. New listings on eBay is what I try to keep it at. So that's what it is for me. Like I said, you have to just look and see what your total is. And I would just, what I messed out on Vindu when I started is I imported everything. And I thought I had to import everything. But you get to choose what items you import into Vindu. And so I could have done with a lot less, and I wouldn't have had to pay as much up front. So, but if you're interested in it, Crystal, you can message me or whatever, and I'll kind of try to explain a little bit better. But like I said, I'm not promoting them. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm using it, and I think they've got a good platform. But I'm not going to say it's perfect for everybody because, like I said, it is expensive, and I'm not seeing the return yet. But I think once I put some effort into it, I will. Because I know a lot of people that you guys are doing crazy. I know Recon and Adam even has been talking about Mercari, about how they're doing really good over there. So I think it's just me. It's just me not putting effort into actually making sure that the items are good over there and actually posting a lot more items over there. Let's see, comment, Bobby's Kicks. They always say the shoe doesn't fit, and since I have no return, they get mad. Oh, dang. Yeah, I don't have that. I think, honestly, I don't know if you may do this, Bobby. I know you've been in this game a little while. I do recommend when they message you about it, offer them the return, but tell them you're going to charge them the shipping. And I feel like they can still leave negative, and like I said, obviously they did on me, but I feel like that's helped me out a lot because they don't feel optionless. Then when you say no returns, they feel like, oh man, I'm stuck with these. They at least have the option, and even if they don't take that option, you get it. I always make sure I cover my shipping costs. So if it's brand new shoes, then make sure they come back brand new. But I always make sure hey, we can take them back, but we're going to charge you 25, 30 bucks, restocking to cover the shipping. We have to cover our shipping labels. And it just gives them another option. I don't know. Like I said, you may try this. You may have already done this probably, but I do that, and it tends to alleviate a few of them. But maybe I don't do as many shoes as you do either, because I think that's pretty much your area that you sell in. But I don't seem to have too many issues with it, at least not right now. Knock on wood somewhere. I need to get like a piece of wood somewhere because I talk all the time. And it's probably gonna come back and bite me. Recon, I got a negative for 2 left shoes without the buyer messaging me first. Don't you love that? That's been, I think, all my negatives up until this last one have been people that haven't messaged me about it. I did get one person to remove it. Oh, I don't know if I told you about this. I did get a negative last week, and they said item didn't arrive, and it literally got delivered the same day. Like the day they left the feedback is when it said delivered. So I messaged him, and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I messaged him and said, hey, sorry I didn't receive your item. Contact your post office. They can tell you where it is, blah, blah, blah. I gave him the whole spiel, even though he left a negative already. And he messaged me back about an hour later. Oh, it just got redelivered. They delivered it 4 doors down. Thanks. Or something like that. And I responded and said, hey man, I appreciate it or glad you got your item. I'd appreciate if you could revise your feedback that you left now that you received the item and everything's good to go. And he did. And I sent him a revision right after I sent the message, and he revised the feedback and gave me a positive. So I was like, oh, happy about that one. And that was going to be the whole story of the live stream, part of the point in the live stream. And then I got the negative a couple days ago from the hat buyer. So I kind of offset. But it does work every now and then. You can get, if they do leave you feedback, you can try to resolve the issue, but not on all of them. And I would say, like I said, I would say well over half of my negatives, like at least 5 or 6 of the negatives I've had, have never contacted me. And that's what I put in my response. That's what I put in every single response. Buyer never contacted us about the issue. And, we can't solve issues that we don't know about. I manually cross-listed 500 items in Mercari in 2 days. My brain hurt. That is crazy. I can't do that. Listing, I can do listings. I like to sit down and just do a bunch of them, but it kills me. I don't like doing it, but it's part of the game. Crystal said, I use another cross-listing platform. Doesn't have the delist option, but it's a lot cheaper, so I'll just see if it makes a difference to cross-list. Yeah, honestly, the only reason I pay what I do for Vindu, and I think anybody pays for Vindu, the amount that they charge is because of the delist feature. If you're used to it and you manually delist, it's not an issue. And it's just me. I'm terrible about it. I'm really, really bad about it. And I couldn't afford any more hits on my eBay for it, because I lost my top rated for the past 6 months, I think, for that, for having to cancel orders that I had cross-listed. So Bobby Six said, I haven't tried that. I will next time. Yeah, I would recommend it. Like I said, it works, 20% of the time for me, at least on my return, people that want to return, because I don't have returns on. I would gladly turn returns on if I didn't have to pay for the shipping both ways. I know if you turn returns on, you can have buyer pay shipping, and I've considered that, but then I would automatically lose out on whatever it cost me to ship. I'm probably going to turn that on some like smaller items that I only pay a couple, $4 or $5 to ship. I might turn it on just to give it a shot and just to see if it boosts sales a little bit. But on shoes and stuff like that, I don't want to eat the cost of the shipping to them, because it's 10, 12, $15, whatever it is. I don't want to eat that. So that's what I've been doing, offering it to them. Hey, we will take a return as long as it's new still, how you received it, but we are going to charge the shipping cost that it cost us. And some people take you up on it, some people don't, but it's resolved more issues than it's created for me, so I'd recommend it. We are almost out of orders, but I've still got a couple more things I want to talk about. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We've actually had 10 or 11 viewers the whole time today. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. This next item is actually a really cool sale. Picked these bad guys up for $2.50 on clearance. These are Champion bucket hats, just this like terry, like looks like a robe feel to it. Sold these guys, I kid you not, for $39.99 a piece. These retail for $30. We sold it for $39.99 on Amazon. We were the only seller that had them. They'd been delisted for a long time, or there wasn't any actives on it for a long time. Sold both of them to the same buyer for $40 a piece. We are going to cut this tag off because it says $30. But that is crazy. I cannot believe they sold for that much. I decided to list them just because Champion stuff tends to sell well. Some of it does, the name brand. And like I said, just decided to list it high, and they sold to the same buyer of all things too. So that was really cool. But $40 a piece. We got $80 out of $5 in investment. I love those sales. I love those sales for sure. Let's see. What else do we have on here? I was going to talk about, top rated. So actually, I should check it once we get done here with these orders. I believe as of today, I finally got my top rated status back, thankfully. Like I said, I've been out of it for, I want to say 6 months, since Christmas for sure. I have not had top rated since then. And it's been really annoying because I've missed it either on cancellations is the biggest one, or late, let's see, what do they call it? Late shipping, which I would ship it and print it and tag it and everything, but it wouldn't go out on time. Had my mailman miss a couple pickups, and we got that resolved with the post office, but caused me to have some late. So like I said, for 6 months I haven't. We'll see if it helps. Maybe it'll boost my sales. I don't know. But as of, so the evaluation is supposed to be today. I should be top rated, and I'm not even close on any metrics, so we should be able to hold it for at least a couple more months. Should be able to hold it for the, for a long time, but thankfully going to get that back, and we'll see if that actually helps with sales or not. I don't know if it's going to, but we shall see. We're going to just toss these in a box just so I don't get complaints. Hopefully, there we go. And get those shipped out. But yeah, I was another frustrating thing. I kept losing it because of, like I said, missale or cancellations, double selling it or just not having the same inventory. I don't know how I do that, but every now and then I input the wrong number for inventory and it hurts a lot. Let's see. Recon, I had some I can't read that. Is it down or clown? Had some down. Do a switcheroo after said the item was defective. Was a pair of OG Lucky Charm Crocs that I sold for 70. Literally lost out on 2 labels and the Crocs. Wow. Was that on eBay? Because normally if you take photos of it or whatever, you can open a claim with them. I've never had, well, I take it back. I've had, I think, one switcheroo on me, and um, eBay fixed it. Like I took pictures of it. But sometimes if I have a question about a return or if I think it's fishy, I will actually go through and record myself opening the box because I've had that before. So that always helps too. But yeah, you should, if they completely switched on you, you should be able to get that back, I would think. But who knows? eBay's been a little off on some of that recently. Let's see. Next up, I have a label for Gary, but I don't see Gary. Let's see. I'm missing an item somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. That's not good. No, I don't like when I end up with extra labels. That means I didn't put the right label on something or something worse. Let's see what I can find. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to figure this one out real quick. Let's see. I took pics and everything, and eBay didn't do crap. Really? That sucks, man. I don't like bad mouthing eBay because eBay is my favorite platform. Well, when I say it's my favorite, it's because I make the most sales on it most of the time. And we've had some protection, from bad, whether it's bad seller or bad buyers or whatever. We've had some of that, and we're losing on some of that. And I don't know what, I don't know what the point is. We'll see. eBay has bounced around sometimes and come back with different things. Oh, it is for that one. Okay. But I don't know how it's going to go this year. Hopefully it gets better. At the end of the day, we don't have much choice because unless you are making more money on a different platform, you've got to stick with where you're making your sales at. So it is what it is, and we got to kind of go with it and just share our feedback and stuff, and try to make the best that we can. But it does suck that we're losing some of that. Hopefully eBay realizes it and will make some adjustments. But everybody, eBay, Amazon, all of them are still trying to figure out how to maneuver the economy and stuff like that. So you are going to see some variation in how well people, they've got to try to figure out how to get sales to their platform too. They've got to make their money. And at the end of the day, hopefully they figure out a way to bring more buyers in and not take more of ours. That's kind of the deal. Let's see here. What else? Oh, we'll leave that one for next time. I'm trying to think. Partial refund threats. Like I said, yeah, they actually got the negative on that one. But I think that covers what we were going to talk about. How are we going to fix? Talked about cross listing. I'm sorry, I'm reading a whole list of things that I want to do. Let's talk about the goals of the week. I want to start doing this as more of a accountability thing, I guess you could say, to me. I want to start setting some goals. I try to do this Sunday night whenever I'm getting ready to go to bed or whatever, kind of get an idea of what I want to do for the week for my store. And I'd recommend it. If you guys don't do that, I'd highly recommend it. Not everybody works that way, but for me, it just helps me give me kind of a guideline and a path on what I want to get done that week, and kind of directs me instead of waking up Monday, doing these lives, and then getting off the live and then wondering, okay, what am I going to do next? So for this week, my goals for the week are to finish listing the last of my inventory. And that sounds like a huge goal, but I am caught up on my inventory. I've got about 30 more listings that I need to get up, and I plan on doing that today. So we're going to get those 30 listings up this week and finish out. And when I say finish out, that's literally going to be all my inventory. I'm not going to stop buying inventory. I'm going to still buy inventory, but I want to get all that done so that I can focus on my next couple of goals. But I want to get that. I have planned on getting it done past weekend, and some stuff come up and just didn't get around to it. Enjoyed my weekend a little too much, and didn't get as much as I wanted done. But that's okay. So my goal for today, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys just so I can kind of be held accountable for my actions. I'm going to finish up listing that last bit of inventory. I've got those scheduled out through the end of this week, and that'll push me out to probably mid of next week. And then I plan on going sourcing probably at the end of the weekend to get a little bit more. But that is my goal for this week, or for today. And then the rest of this week, I'm going to take a certain amount of time. I don't know if it's going to be an hour, 2 hours, whatever it's going to be. But I'm going to look into my price adjusting, start looking at some old inventory, especially inventory I have a lot of. That's what I'm going to focus on first. I have a ton of those Allbirds shoes that we shipped out a couple videos ago, probably 20-30 pairs of each of those, and I want to make sure I get those priced accordingly. So I'm going to start with some of my higher quantity stuff, comping again, making sure my prices are good, and then also begin delisting and relisting a couple listings a day to try to get in that habit. And I want to start doing that every day if I can, or at least every couple of days throughout the week. So we're going to take a little bit of time every day and try to focus on doing that and kind of setting up a routine. The next thing that was going to take up most of this week, though, is going to be my website design. So I'm going to start digging into that, spending a lot of time in that, and hopefully by the end of the week, I'll either be started on it or have an idea of what I want to do with it and get some graphics. If any of you guys are into graphics and graphic design or anything by chance, let me know, because I could use some help with that. But otherwise, that's kind of, those are the three main goals. Like I said, obviously get the inventory listed, and I also want to make sure if I get any inventory in, I've got a little bit coming in, like 1 or 2 items coming in bulk this next week. So as soon as I get those in, I want to make sure I get those listed and get that started. So making sure I'm caught up on my inventory. If I get inventory in, I want to have it listed within 24 to 48 hours when I get it in, and then spending the rest of my time focusing on boosting sales the best I can, whether that's price adjusting or cross listing. The cross listing, like I said, I do that while I'm hanging out, so to speak. So I can do that whenever, and that'll be going throughout the week too. But the main focus of, like, the 9 to 5 job that I do is going to be working on getting that inventory figured out. So my camera keeps tracking me again here. Sorry, my hand movements. Let's see here. Anyway, let's get back to the position that we need to be in. So those are my main goals. Like I said, we'll let you guys know how that works. We'll see how it goes. I've got a couple more listings I'm going to share with you real quick that we aren't packing up today. I don't have the labels, but they did come in either late last night or early this morning. We've got this Air hat that we've sold before. Dodgers on the front, Yankees on the back. Sold that one for 20 bucks. We paid, I think, $3 for those. We've got this here Yankees hat. Or no, this is a Dodgers hat as well. These were a bread and butter call out, and we picked these up for, I believe, 10 bucks. Sold this one for $29.99. This is like a corduroy material. I don't know. We've got some comments too. I'm going to get to your guys' comments here in just a second. I'm not going to leave you hanging on those. We've got these Nikes that we sold before. Again, paid on these ones, looks like 20 bucks for these, and sold them for $59.99. We've got some slides that we just got in, actually the sale that we got the Skechers in. We also picked up these slides, Nike slides. These are the Yin Yang, or the Yin Yang, I can't say that. Yin Yang ones, the opposites. So it's one shoe that's white and black and one shoe that's black and white. Kind of cool. We picked these up, I think, for 10 bucks, 10 or $12, and they did sell for, oops, I lost the listing. Where'd the listing go? They sold for $34.99. So nice come up on those, and I've got several pair of those in that size, so hopefully they sell out pretty quick. What else we got? I've got a couple hats that I don't have picked that we sold while we're doing the live here. We sold some boxers. These have actually sold really well for me, and then it took forever for them. I lost the listing on Amazon basically, and it's taken forever to finally get the price back. So I don't know if somebody came into a bunch of them that I missed a deal out on, but they were selling really fast. They've slowed down, but we are getting 40 bucks for these, and we paid 14, I believe, in a bread and butter call out as well. So like I said, Brendan, if you are interested in that and you enjoy this type of stuff, the call outs are great over there. I mean, we get some great product and make some really good inventory, or really good profit off of them. This is one of those hats. Again, we paid half price off of this tag here. We paid $10 for this. This is an Adidas, just a basic hat. I bought these because I know they sell super fast and super well on Amazon. We sold this one for $34.99. I literally listed it last night while I was watching TV, and we sold it by this morning. So it was a really fast turnaround, 10 into 35, and I will take that all day long. It's a great quick flip, and like I said, a lot of these hats are worth it. Now, if they aren't listed on Amazon, you can normally get a little bit more from them. If they're current, when I say not listed, I guess I shouldn't say that. There's no sellers on the listing. on Amazon, you can normally get at least retail tag, because this one's $29.99 or more depending on the hat, for those. So like I said, $34.99 out of that hat. Even though the retail's $30, we paid $10, and it was just because nobody else is selling that particular color. So sold that. Same with this one. This was a Nike hat that we picked up, paid $10 for as well. Nike hats always do well on Amazon, especially if there are no other sellers on the listing. Retail on this one, I believe, was $32.99, and we sold it for $39.99. So we'll peel that tag off here in a minute before we ship it out. I just don't have labels for those yet, but they did sell. And I believe that's all my listings, at least for now, and we'll see how many more orders we can get in. But that was, like I said, pretty much our orders for the weekend. I did sell a pair of Curry Under Armour shoes. Let me just show you a picture real quick since I don't have them. I forgot to grab them. I was doing so good, and then I spaced out. We picked these up from a Kohl's event as well. Hopefully you guys can see this. There we go. Maybe. It's probably a little brighted out there, but gray and orange Curries, we picked those up. I want to say we paid, I think we paid $25 for those, 25 bucks, and sold them for $69.99. So those will be going out here too. That's what this label's for. I just forgot about it. Let's get back to the comments real quick. Let's see. My goal is to not pass out in this humid heat and get these containers packed. More proud to you, man. You guys have heated up down there too. I think Recon's in Florida. And yeah, it's been humidity, man. I don't know how you guys do it down there. We get hot. We get 115 here where I am, 110, 115, and in Arizona where I'm from, we get up to 120 throughout the summer. And it's not even near as bad as your guys' heat with the humidity. I'll take it any day over the humidity at 90. It's crazy. Crystal said, my goal is to list 15 a day and cross list 30 to 40 a day and get more sales. There you go. Hey, at the end of the day, all you got to do is, or all you can do is put more effort into it. Put as much effort into it as you can and get those listings up. I think it'll help out a lot. That's what we're gonna do. I slack off a little bit every now and then, but a slow sales week like this, it motivates me. It makes me want to put a lot more effort into it so I can see those sales go back up. So it helps me out and gives me a boost. Believe it or not, try not to get down with it, but it gives me a boost to really push myself and try to put more effort into it for sure. Recon said, I love air hats. I do too. These are kind of interesting. I guess, I don't know. I like collecting hats. I don't really wear sports hats much, but I like collecting them. So I don't know about this particular one. I'm not a huge fan of this hat, but I think the air hats are pretty cool when you can find them. I think you shared the one that had the MLB tag on the inside and it's an NFL hat. That was pretty cool in the sweatband or whatever. That was pretty neat. But I think that is about it. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. I want to just say a huge thank you, guys. This has been the most viewers we've had for the past few weeks. Really makes me feel good to know that you guys are enjoying it and watching and supporting. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, I would appreciate that. That helps out a lot. We're going to keep doing the streams. Like I said, even if we only have a few viewers in here, I want to keep it up. I enjoy doing them, really, I do. And I enjoy getting to talk with you guys and comment. You guys have been way more chattive in the chat and everything today than before, and I appreciate that. It makes my job a whole lot easier. I was afraid this was going to be a really short video because I really didn't have that many orders, and here we are at 2 hours, just like the past ones have been. So thank you guys so much for that. If you guys haven't already, I would highly appreciate checking out the videos and the links in the description box below. If you haven't already, obviously don't rewatch it if you have, but I really do appreciate it. If with your support there. We are at 220 subscribers. We got 30 subscribers more to go, and we're gonna do some giveaways. We're gonna do something good. I don't want to just tag you guys along and promote this and then not give you something worth it. I want to do something for you guys because you guys really have supported us, and we'll do it in a live. That way everybody can have a chance at it and so on. We're gonna do that, but like I said, we're gonna wait till we get that 250 subscriber mark. We're at 220 now, so if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd appreciate it. Hit that notification bell. And we're going to see about maybe doing some other just random streams and random videos here and there to help give you guys some more content as well. But I do appreciate all the support we've had. Let's see. Keeping me insane. Keeping me insane in the garage, or sane in the garage. Keeping me sane in the garage. Good stuff. Appreciate it, Recon. Greeny, we appreciate you taking all the time to do that. Hey, no problem. Like I said, I enjoy it. It's a way for me to give back and help out. And you guys help me out too, so it works both ways, and we get the shipping done and gives me a start to the week gets me motivated. Believe it or not, talking to you guys and telling you guys about what we're doing and, you know, my thoughts on stuff gets me motivated to get into this every single week. Sometimes that can be really hard through the summer, you know, or not summer, but through the, you know, through the getting up off of your weekend and getting into the grind can be a little bit harder. So this gives me a reason to do it. So helps me out just as much as it does you guys. And I appreciate it. I think that is it, guys. We're not going to keep you much longer. Thank you guys once again so much for your support. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them directly, or we'll cover them in a stream. So leave those comments in the comment box below or in the chat, or shoot me a message. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, or you can shoot me a message if you're on Bread and Butter as well. You can shoot me a direct message over there as well, and I'll be happy to help as much as I can. I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.